Got a dream in a tear last night, watched the world fade out of sight. Seen the ghosts of time preside, eagles soared and falcons cried. Sleeping phoenix on a rise. Abundance and strange the skies.
Hello, and welcome to Phoenix Rising, and nice that you're here. I've just returned from London, and I must say that it was a very powerful experience. It's quite something to take people into what is the potential of their determination, what's possible for a human being, and how much that possibility all begins with such simple things, I've had a weekend of strategy and authority, and it really is the way. It opens up the door to the transformation of the form. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about London. I'm actually here to share with you a little documentary made by Loki Krakauer Riley, who produces this show. And it's from my recent trip to Amsterdam. So I really hope you enjoyed that. Take a look.
Can you tell me about your thoughts about ADHD?
I hate these things. They're all lies. Attention deficit disorder, this is making money for the pharmaceuticals. This has nothing to do with children. Look, most of the children that have attention deficit disorder are children that are left environment, left mind, they don't know what to do with themselves. They got all this energy. They can't keep attention. Only the right-minded child can truly be present, and then in most of those cases, you have parents that add to the problem. I have looked at so many children, and every time I look at the design of a child, I see nothing wrong, but I see the parents. Because it's just what it is. And of course, again, this is the great dilemma. It's a chain, after all. It's life. You got to start somewhere. It's kind of one of those chicken and eggs. Where do you start? And I keep hoping I find parents that I can impact so they can impact their children. And in all fairness, the greatest success of my career is the mothers who tell me how much difference that's made in the raising of their children and in protecting them and giving them a good future. And I take great pleasure in that, because that's really what it's about. Changing the institutions, maybe 50 years after I'm gone, we'll see. They're not going to do it while I'm here. I haven't toured in a decade. When I first started to introduce human design, Amsterdam was one of those places that I came to. I was here in the early 90s, 93, 94. So it's been a very long time since I've been back, and so many things have happened in the world of human design and the way in which human design works. I don't spend all my time trying to convince somebody that it's real. There's enough people on this planet that know that it is. So it gives me an opportunity at this point in my work, because I've been stuck in my virtual studio for about 7 or 8 years now, and not having a chance to get back out in the world and see some people and see some old friends. I see people here that I saw in the early 90s, so it's nice to come back and make that connection. What is this all about? Look, it's very simple. All of you were born conditioned. You've been conditioned all of your life. You've never lived out who you are. You've never had a chance to live out who you are. You don't even know what that means. You don't even know if I'm telling you the truth. The reality is that everything about life is about conditioning. Everything. The one thing that human design represents is a way to get out of being conditioned. It opens up a possibility, an opportunity, and it's just an opportunity because it's not a guarantee. I mean, all of you that are here, it's really nice that you're here. I appreciate the fact that you're here. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. It doesn't mean anything until this is something that makes sense to you, that it works for you, that you see that it works for you. I'm not here to be believed. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a guru. I don't do any of those things. I don't care if you don't believe me. That's not the point of all of this. What I'm interested in is being able to deliver what is a practical message, and a practical message that any human being can really make a huge change in their lives, change the direction of their lives, and the value that you have in the experience of being here on this plane, by beginning to understand that your enemy is the thing that defines your life for you. It's your mind. It's all about your mind. And the thing that makes human design so extraordinary is that it gives you a way to sort of sneak around the mind, which is really nice, because your mind is always getting in the way. It's always getting in the way. The whole thing about the nature of mind is mind's here to measure. This is what it's really good at. Eh? So it's able to look at this and that, and it measures this and that, and then it tells you what to do. And the moment that it tells you what to do, you're lost in the game. And let me show you why. I'm going to tell you things that are really simple. They are not easy. I know, I've been doing this for nearly 25 years, eh? And I watched the movie out there. Mechanics is simple. Living it, because if you think that this is just interesting information, you're on the wrong track. You know, because if you think this is just interesting information, you're going to get lost in all the nuances of the knowledge that's here, because it goes on forever. I know, I've been teaching it forever. It's not about that. It is about actually living it. And the only way you can live it is that you try the experiment. And the experiment is, don't let your mind pull you around by the nose, because that's what it does.
Amazing.
Oh, it's a wonderful process. I've followed so many lectures online, and having Ra here in our hometown, you know, in Amsterdam is a wonderful process.
It's great that he comes to Amsterdam.
I think it's very nice to, yeah, I think it's very impacting. I mean, I feel it.
Hello, and welcome to your neutrino forecast for this week. And I guess the real theme, the most dynamic theme of the week is in fact a continuation from the previous week. We have the nodes in the 10th gate, that is the north node in the 10th gate in the 5th line. The south node is in the 10th gate in the 5th line. And now, of course, we're going to have on Tuesday, we're going to have the sun and the earth enter into this same polarity, that is, enter into the 10 and enter into the 15. What is that actually all about? The 10th gate is really fascinating, because if you look at the 10th gate in the chart, you'll see it's part of what's called the integration channels. That is 4 different gates that meet in one system. It really is the backbone of what it is to be an individual. And in being that individual, that 10th gate is all about behavior, and it's all about the potential of the behavior of the individual so that it can survive, because it's all about survival. The 10th gate, the gate of behavior, what we get to see in terms of what the nodes present us is that we get to see the potential of heretical behavior that's going to be brought to our attention. That heretical behavior that we're going to be drawn into in terms of the program of being on one side or another side of whatever that is all about. The other thing is that we're dealing with the 15th gate, and the 15th gate is the gate of extremes. It's a gate that's always trying to find its rhythm. There can be a lot of chaos this week with people trying to find those rhythms. There can also be those people who carry the 5th gate. Any of you that have the 5th gate in your design and you don't have the 15th gate, you're going to discover that your very pattern is going to have to be adjusted and it's going to be impacted. And of course, this can take you out of what is your basic rhythm. The 15-5 is one of the most fascinating channels that we have in the body graph. It is a channel that is there in all different forms of life, and it really represents our cellular infrastructure. It's all about being in the flow. And of course, this is really one of the themes that is here this week. It's about seeing what is happening in that flow. The 15th gate is the love of humanity or not. So there's a great many things that are working when the program is giving us this very, very 2 gates. Look out for extreme behavior. Be careful you're not dragged into it yourself. And always remember that when you're correct, the weather is for your pleasure. The Rave Mandala is really an extraordinary thing. It has, over the years for me, revealed so many things, and particularly about, well, various events that you see in the world, particularly festivals that are connected to the world's various religions. We have one of those festivals coming up, that is Christmas time, and the 25th of December. It's an interesting thing, that is, if you look at all of the various religions, they all have a relationship to this time of the year. It is, after all, the winter solstice, whether on the 21st or the 22nd of December, and it's that winter solstice that brings the end of darkness and the opening of the light. And so many cultures have celebrated this in different ways. But the 25th is an interesting date. It began with Sol Invictus, a Syrian god that was a favorite amongst the soldiers of Caesar. And this was a solar god, and its birth date was celebrated on the 25th of December. It's an interesting thing that with the Roman conversion to Christianity, that this date, which was a date that kept the troops loyal, was a date that was maintained. And what makes the 25th so interesting is where you see it land each year. That is the solar returns. That is, the sun is either in the 10-6 or the sun is going to be in the 58-1 on the 25th of December each year. And those two lines in those two different gates, very different from each other. And yet they speak so much about what the dream and the hope is of this particular moment. The 10-6 is the role model, that potential through behavior to show clearly the way to survive and to thrive on this plane. And the 58-1, the joyous, the first line is the love of life, the sheer delight and joy of being here. When the sun arrives on the 25th, we will have an imprint that is very ancient, an imprint that points us to what's possible for us, to discover true joy in this life through correct behavior. Follow your strategy and authority.
Got a dream in a tear last night, watched the world fade out of sight. Seen the ghosts of time preside, eagles soared and falcons cried. Sleeping phoenix on a rise. abundance and strange disguise.